Y'all ready for your next comedian? Next comic is another Richmond comic. His name is Sam Nelson.
Woo!
How is everybody? Grow up with this. KB was talking about what dog you think you would be. For me, I think I'd be a pit bull. You know, I get nervous, I get aggressive, and just go straight for the kids. I found this one poor fuck.
That's a great joke, man.
Yeah, no, Webster never stood a chance. Yeah. It's all right though. I have an elite team of lesbians that are willing to defend me at any cost. One of them. So, I really love like local radio stations. I think just the environment, like the smell, it's like everything. It's all wonderful. I went upstairs to use the restroom, and they had just a little box full of free CDs. You could take any of them, right? And I found, this is wonderful, Catfish Keith, Shake Me Up. He's a white man singing the blues, which is nice. But unfortunately I found, and this is often the case, that behind every wonderful story there's a hint of tragedy. Number 8 on this track list, Who Pumped the Wind in My Donut? Just stellar, but I'm afraid it takes a dark turn. Track number 9, Mother's Last Words to Her Son. Fuck. Track 10, Nobody's Fault But Mine. Her son could not handle the wind in that donut. Track 11, My Creole Belle. You know, I'm glad that she found love. I'm glad to be here at the Comedy Lab. Finally, you know, we're putting men in STEM. That's nice. So I'll be explaining kind of what I'm going through and what I'm doing here for replicability in case you guys would like to do my set. So the first thing that I'd like to do is kind of open up with, you know, a very relatable joke, something that can really bring people in and unite the room. So I'm sober.
Yeah.
I don't drink anything. And when you say something like that, people get a little bit like they're, oh, okay, well, I wonder why, right? Does it have to do with his family? Does it have to do with his childhood? It does have to do with my childhood. Now, back in the day, and this was the case when I was born, they used to have these things called sugar tits. And what a sugar tit is it's a little piece of cloth that you take, and you dip it in whiskey, and then you dip it in sugar, then you put it in the baby's mouth. And the goal of this is to get the baby a little bit drunk, so you can get them nice and docile for when you circumcise them. So I have to think that, man, like the last time that I got drunk, they stole a part of my penis. I don't think I'm into it. And the scary part is, you know, they're willing to do that to a baby. I'm 24 now, okay? God, if I get drunk now, they might take everything. You know, and that is scary, right? But there's something almost calming about imagining a guy who's just perfectly smooth down there. But there's a darker turn it could have taken, you know. What if, oh God, what if they left me with just the balls? I've been working on crowd work. The bus driver keeps getting mad at me, so I thought I'd do it here instead. And I'm sorry, man. I just have one question for you. Is that okay? Awesome. So do you think that you could ever love a man with just the balls? No. Yeah, so that's why I don't drink beers. Awesome. I've been, this is one that I've like kind of tried to figure out, done a little bit of work on, so I figure this is the perfect place for it. Have you guys seen Wife Swap, the show Wife Swap?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's a television program where two guys presumably hate their wives or something. And what they do is they switch them out for like a couple weeks so then they can either be like, wow, I really do hate my wife and this one is way better. Or they're like, man, I miss my wife. I didn't know how good I had it. I was actually slated to be on Wife Swap, but my episode never went to air. Because during the filming process, when I arrived and we went to swap wives, I found out that the other husband was actually Indiana Jones. And see, my wife weighed, and you'd think it wouldn't matter, but just a couple pounds more than his. And it triggered a pressure plate, and a boulder came down and crushed the entirety of the staff services. It's a bloodbath. Okay, that's fine. So now I really want to reel you guys back in here. I don't know if you guys have seen this stuff. They're calling it, it's pornography. I know, terrible. And they've invented a new kind that I think is just despicable. They're calling it stuck porn. I don't know if you've seen this. So the premise is that there's a woman and she's going about her business, you know, day-to-day activities, doing the laundry, etc. And then at some point she gets stuck in some sort of contraption, okay? In the washer, in the dryer, yada yada. And then a man takes advantage of her. Terrible. And the problem with this kind of stuff for me is that it totally throws off the realism. Because what if her muscular stepson wasn't there when she got stuck? They just find her 3 days later? That's terrible. I've actually made a pledge. I'm not into this stuff. I've decided that from now on, I'm only going to watch free-range porn. They're in a wide open field and they get plenty of sunlight, and I like to imagine that they're in love. Okay, let's see. Let's finish on something really relatable. Are you guys familiar with MS-13? The Latin American gang MS-13. Wow. And how scary and terrible are these guys, right? These criminal thugs, El Salvadorian gang, MS-13. People have been coming up to me, they say, Sam, how are we going to handle this situation? How are we going to stop these guys at our border, MS-13? And you know what I have to say? I have to say, America, since when the hell are we so scared of a bunch of 7th graders? You know, especially those with MS. I actually did Google it before. It's also MS Awareness Month, so I'm doing my part. I told my aunt that joke, and she wasn't huge on it. No notes for me. But she did ask me, hey Sam, do you ever get scared that someone's going to hurt you for a joke that you do? And I said, no, of course not. I'll be fine. So if you guys find me hanging from a bridge somewhere, with my throat slashed, hey, egg on my face. Thank you guys so much. You've been wonderful.
One more time for Sam Nelson.
Yeah!